Wait. Sound?
All right, everybody. Shalom and welcome to the show. We are starting live today. We haven't been live in a while. What a blessing it is to be with you all. Shalom. Let's just make sure the sound is all good. Looks like it's all good. Let's hit the Instagram go live button. Let's go live on Instagram as well. And we are live on Instagram, Baruch Hashem. And it's so good to be with all of you as we begin. First, I want to hear from all of you around the world. Send me a blessing. Let me know where you're from. And that's the way we start the show. Make sure that everybody gets in. In the meantime, so I don't get lonely, I want to bring on the show hostess with the mostest, Malkah Fleisher. Malkah, shalom.
Yishai, it's so nice to be back after so long on this show.
It is great to have you back on, Baruch Hashem. And we're live. I've been away and I haven't done live in a long time. So it's great to be back.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. And I want to hear from I want to hear from everybody out there. That's right. I want to hear from everybody out there from around the world, including Charles, who says Shalom Shavuot Tov. I want to hear where you're from, Charles. I want to hear where the people are from, and I want to hear their blessings while we get ready. We get ciao from Italy. One time I was touring Mossab Hassan Yusuf and Knesset member
the Green Prince
and Knesset member Ohad Tal. Yeah. We were making that video, and then and we were walking through the tunnels underneath the old city, and this Italian lady stops me. She goes, "Are you Yishai Fleisher? Oh my God!" And she was an older lady, and she's like, "Look, everybody, it's a Yishai Fleisher." She goes, "I Italy." Okay, and she was so excited. It was the best. It was the best. Here's folks from the Netherlands. Great country until they let themselves get messed up with those invaders. Oh boy. So anyway, blessings to you back in the Netherlands and blessings to Mississippi. Very good. And shalom to Berlin and shalom to let's see, where else? Let's go. Oh, Manchester. One second. Manchester, England. Shalom. And from Sweden, shalom. God bless you. Okay. And we have a lot of people joining from all over the world, from Brooklyn, New York.
Awesome. I missed everybody. Did you miss them?
I did miss them, but I was on the road, so I got to see people. Okay, I didn't go to Mexico, like Super Garden 18, and more blessings from Germany. I didn't go to Germany on this trip, but I was in San Diego for like a few hours. Okay. Mashiach Yosef Netanyahu Ben David from San Diego. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That's great news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got here from Romania. And what is this? Schweiz? Is that how you spell it? Okay.
Switzerland.
And we got here from Italy. Mi amore. Bene. Okay. Very good. Okay, very good. So we got people coming in from all over the world, and thank you very much for joining us.
So great to see all of you.
Says Sandra that she's crying into my tulips now in the Netherlands. So that's right. And
we have Dutch tulips, Yishai. Not right now because it's not winter.
That's right.
We got Dutch tulips this winter, from a beautiful group of people who came to beautify and help in Judea and Samaria, and they came with boxes of tulips, and we got a few of those tulips. And we were able to plant them at our house.
That's right.
They're gorgeous. Yeah.
And they are gorgeous. And I have seen the Dutch tulips and they are amazing. And shalom from Tucson, Arizona. We have a Kolel, Baruch Hashem, and he's learning Torah. More greetings from Switzerland. Ralph Friedlander.
I did not know that you were so popular in Switzerland. There should be like Swiss for Yishai Facebook group. Now all these people should hang out.
It's true. And here's from British Ulster, Northern Ireland. There's a place that they want me to come speak at. They want me to come speak in Northern Ireland.
It's not considered a particularly pro-Israel place, but
Northern Ireland is. There's strong Northern Ireland.
There are Irish people out there, and we have met them and we have heard from them. Many people out there who do not buy the hype, did not drink the Kool-Aid, are not lemmings, and understand the reality of what's going on here in the Holy Land, and they stand behind us 100%.
That's right. And there's also a very strong presence of pro-Israel folks in Northern Ireland and certainly in Miami. Of course, Ellie Rutman, God bless you, bro. Nice to see you. So there's folks from everywhere, and I do want to ask. Recently, we're having some issues with YouTube. God bless them. We've been a little. We're having algorithmic challenges. Okay,
We're algorithmically challenged.
we're algorithmically challenged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was in like grade school and high school, I was short. Now I'm algorithmically challenged.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in order for you to do a little help with our algorithm, we do. Somebody writes, no name user writes, then just stream on Twitter. We stream on Twitter. We stream. But we do stream there as well. This is going out live on all most platforms. But I want to say that if you want to help our algorithm and whatever platform you're using, then hit like, hit the little hearts, subscribe, do the thing. Look, we got more friends from Ireland. Cork, Ireland.
Yishai, it's time for us to get on a plane.
You love British former British Isles. You love.
I love. The truth is, I have been to Ireland. I wasn't there for very long. I did a summer program when I was younger at Oxford University, and then I did a 1-day trip to Ireland and a 2-day trip to Scotland. And there was ferries, and I remember getting on the ferry to Ireland, and it was so green. It was like the greenest green. And, you know, they say that about Ireland. You're like, okay, it's green. It is so green. It's such a beautiful place. And there's like a pain that lives in my heart that Ireland has issues with the Jewish people and with Israel, because I would love to go back there.
Right. And let's talk about that for a second. First, I want to say that we have hellos from Scotland, just not to let the folks in Scotland feel any less.
No, God forbid. I told you I took a 2-day trip to Scotland. I walked through Edinburgh. We have a blanket in our house from Edinburgh that I brought home. Like I carried the whole way.
And we're the other Highlanders. That's the other thing. We have shalom from Munich, Germany. And here's a very important one. Says never forgive. 710 says making Aliyah from London, which means immigrating to the land of Israel from London soon. And that is very important. And good luck with that. And good luck coming home. And Hashem, is welcoming the Jewish people back home right now. This is the time. And also we have somebody saying hello from Austria. I've been to Austria. Spent a week there in Vienna. Wonderful place. Really, really nice place. Really special place in many ways. Okay. And Moshe says, you are the best. Thank you, Moshe. God bless you. Oh, and here's, what is this? From California. Very good. Very good. Okay. So we have got a lot of people from all over the world joining us. Thank you very much. Now let's get to the program because there are issues that are not laughing matters. You started talking a little bit about the anti-Israelism and anti-Semitism that is now so prevalent out there. I have been saying that in the last few days, I've been saying that I believe that this period of hate is going to continue to rise. But then I gave it approximately 10 years. That's what I gave it. I believed in approximately 10 years, there's going to be a dramatic turnaround. That's my prediction. There's going to be a turnaround where people, especially on the woke left, but in other places as well, are just going to turn towards Israel and just be like, where did you get this strength? How did you raise your children? What is this thing called a Sabbath? How is it that you have such beautiful marriages? How is it that you have such beautiful rituals for passing away, for death? Show us, share with us. And I really feel in my heart that there is this upcoming turnaround that is going to be like a global consciousness. Right now, hate, and that hate is also bringing Jewish people home. That's the other side of that hate. That hate is actually generating love, i.e., the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. So hate has this positive side to it. But I really do believe that there's going to be a turnaround soon. But it's not so soon. It's still going to keep going.
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
That's right. That's right. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But then there's going to be a turnaround. Now, how do I know this? It's simple. It's part of the prophecies. There's prophecies that say that the world will be amazed at the ingathering of the exiles, and they'll say, like, wow, you are the children of God. You're really coming home. So I really do believe that that's coming. And so therefore, there's an actual piece of advice. And that piece of advice is hold on tight. Just hold on tight right now. Hold on tight. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Just keep holding on right now. Keep coming home. Keep being strong. Don't lose it. Don't get too nervous. Don't take steps to try to make sure that everybody likes you and stuff like that. Don't make silly mistakes. Here it says Sandra. She says God is pushing us to come home. Indeed. And says Fran Kagiro says in less than 10 years, Yishai. Could be. That's my guess. So my guess is that it's going to continue to actually rise. There's going to be about a 10-year swell. It's going to get worse before it gets better, but then it's going to turn around. Malkah, thoughts on that? Any thoughts on that?
I'm not sure that I understand where your 10-year prediction comes from, but I think if you're asking me what I think about the general concept that you're putting out there, which is that at some point in the not so distant future, in our lifetime, there are going to be segments of this planet that are going to be like, whoa, we were not looking at this thing correctly. And now we're like, we're backed into a corner in a lot of different areas, whether it be their security, whether it be their identity, whether it be their birth rate, whether it be, their national pride, whatever it is that they feel, is something they see in us that they can't identify with, that rubs them the wrong way. They'll finally process it and realize, holy moly, we should have been learning from these people who have been screaming at us for decades to get our act together and to just unshackle them to be as big and bright and productive in every kind of way as possible for our own sake. And we held them back as much as we could and still weren't able to defeat them. And now we should learn from them. I definitely agree with you, Yishai. But, if you zoom in on the news today, you might think to yourself that it's like the same as it ever was. Today, we had a terror attack in the Sharon, which is in central Israel. It's right on the cusp of Samaria, but it's in regular Israel at a gas station. And then the terrorist, who is an Israeli Arab, drove to a couple of locations and killed somebody, and people were sent emergency style into their homes. And I got to tell you, Yishai, preparing for this show, I was like, okay, I'm going to get the information on this and make sure I have everything so that everyone can get the details, because this is like the big news of the day. It's already like down the page. If you go and search now, by the time you're looking at this show, even now live, you're looking at this show and you're going to go to the news, you're going to see that this is not the top story. The killing of a Jew today on nationalistic grounds is not the top story today. And you're like, what does that mean?
It's not nationalistic grounds. I'm sorry. I need to correct you. It's terrorism, jihadism. It's not nationalism.
Well,
they're not nationalists. They're imperialists. They say that in Hebrew. That's how they say it. They mean like because of our ethno-religious conflict, but it's not nationalism that they represent. They represent imperialism, a jihadist imperialism, and an anti-Semitism. It's not because they're trying to liberate some kind of nationalism.
Taken. Yes.
Okay.
Point taken.
Let's watch the news together, Malkah. Let's watch ILTV and discuss some of the news of the day and give people a sense of an update and really how we perceive it. Our channel is really about analysis and about bringing Israel to you. And if you are part of this thing that we're doing, then you are probably a builder of Israel and you believe in building Israel. So please check out buildisrael.com, and join us. Also, you could join us at buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. Let's watch ILTV and get a sense of the news today in Israel.
Hour with news of a terror attack. One person was killed and 5 others wounded.
Yeah, a person was not killed. Okay, a person was murdered. Okay, a person was murdered in a jihadist attack. I just don't like whitewashed words. A person was not killed. you get murdered. There's a special word for that. That's when somebody plans to try to murder you and take away your life. You get killed in a, God forbid,
By the way,
car.
the name of that person, I want to mention him, Yishai.
Yeah.
His name is Chaim Kalomiti, 55-year-old reservist on the Kitat Konanut for Tsur Natan. He was a rapid response soldier for his town, and he was mortally wounded today and murdered, as you said, by a person who woke up this morning and thought, I'll just go shoot some people who are going about their day.
Just a short while ago in a series of shootings in the Sharon region north of central Israel. One terrorist has been identified as Omar Yassin from the nearby Arab Israeli city of Taibe. He was neutralized by security forces at the scene. A manhunt was then launched for the second terrorist.
Okay, what's important there, in even ILTV, which is a great channel, sometimes, doesn't stress words so you can understand them. What she just told you is that he was an Israeli Arab, not a Palestinian so-called Arab, but rather an Israeli Arab. And that's very important for you to understand that. He came out of, he has voting rights, etc. He's got equalities, and yet he identified with the jihadist cause. This goes to show you that it's not about giving them opportunities and rights. They have a goal of erasing Israel, and even if they have all the rights in the world, maybe even more, if they have the rights and opportunities, they use it as jihad against us.
As of now, both terrorists have been either apprehended or killed. The terrorist on the run was believed to have escaped into the community of Tzur Yitzchak, and Home Front Command sounded sirens in the vicinity to warn residents to stay at home. What we know so far is that the attacks took place at multiple locations near the communities of Tzur Yitzchak and Kochav Yair. They are located northeast of Tel Aviv. The first location was at a gas station in Kochav Yair, where emergency services and police were called to the scene and treated 2 men with gunshot wounds. Another victim was later located on the side of the road in the same area, and another victim was found near the entrance to Tzur Yitzchak.
Okay, so basically this guy went on a terror spree.
Right.
Okay, it was a murder spree. And he was finally stopped. But the point is, shot a lot of people, including murdered one.
Right.
As we said, this is an ongoing event. There are currently large police forces spread throughout the Taibe area near Kochav Yair and Tzur Yitzchak areas. Security forces have already reportedly reached the home of one of the terrorists and are conducting operations there. But police have not yet released all the details on the suspected terrorists, and we will, of course, continue to update as we receive new information. And moving on now.
Okay, so that was one front, right? One front here is not even the Judea and Samaria front. It's the Israeli Arab front, right? It's the Arabs that live inside of Israel. So that's a front that we're contending with, and exploded in May of 2000. Here it is again. So that's one front. Let's see what other fronts we're dealing with right now.
To the top stories of today in the region. The IDF announced that 2 IDF soldiers have been killed in separate incidents in southern Lebanon over the past 2 days. Captain Shachar Gamla, 23 years old, a deputy team commander in the Egoz unit of the Commando Brigade from Natur in the Golan Heights, succumbed to wounds sustained Thursday in a Hezbollah drone attack. In a separate incident Friday, Sergeant Ohad Yaari, 21 years old, of the Givati Brigade's Shaked Battalion from Rehovot, was killed by what the IDF described as a suspected accidental firearm discharge during operations in southern Lebanon. Since the so-called ceasefire in Lebanon went into effect, 18 soldiers have fallen in various incidents across southern Lebanon and along the Lebanese border.
Okay, so front number 2 is Lebanon, in this case anyway, right? So we just had in the last 2 days, 2 soldiers have fallen because of operations in Lebanon, and Hezbollah, which has taken over southern Lebanon, is still fighting, and we're fighting them, even though we're in an official ceasefire. Remind me right after this news clip to play a little comedy skit about our Israeli ceasefire wars. But in any case, so ceasefire, really, it means cease, then fire, cease, fire, cease. fire. That's what that term means here in the Middle East. So front number 2 is the front of Lebanon. And look at this. She's telling us about fighting and killing. And she says, Lebanon ceasefire pending, whatever, right? It's the war.
By the way, it's not a Lebanon ceasefire. It's a ceasefire with the terror organization. Lebanon can't control them. Who are we having a ceasefire with? We don't need a ceasefire with Lebanon. Lebanon doesn't know how to fight a war. Hezbollah knows how to fight a war. They're the ones fighting a war with us, and they can't get it together. It's very frustrating, Yishai, and the people of the North are so held hostage by this back and forthness, and they cannot. This is not how you get safety on your northern border. Having a ceasefire with Hezbollah is just not going to do it, and it doesn't feel to me like Israel is any longer in that place. After the war that we just conducted in Gaza, which is also not over, that's another front that maybe you were planning to mention. After that war and the ferocity of it and the intensity of it and the intention of the people of the nation, I'm not talking about the upper echelons of the IDF, which, God bless them, but it's not always so clear to me what their intentions are exactly. The intentions of the fighters of Israel, the soldier on the ground, has been to just eradicate the terror threats against Israel forever. There's been so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Morale that has to do with the concept of putting this stuff to rest forever, and fighting our enemies in such a way that they will never fight us again, that they will never be capable to do it again. And instead, we're in this situation in which Lebanon is our northern border is on fire, and Gaza is a low flame, and Iran is literally digging out its missile shooting devices. I know that's not a very high military terminology. Launchers. I don't know what you call them. Missile launchers. They're digging out their missile launchers, and they're digging out their nuclear facilities and like going back to business. And this is depressing for the people of Israel. And although the people of Israel don't want to be in some kind of ongoing, never-ending war, we are absolutely ready to fight a war as long as it takes that achieves things. And if we were to allow to continue to achieve victories for our security, for the security of the Jewish state, then I think the people would be very happy. But as it is, the people don't know what's going on and why they don't know.
In short, you're saying play to win. Is that what you're saying?
If you're gonna put your kids into an army uniform, or your husband into an army uniform, or your brother into an army uniform, let him go win. Don't put him to languish on the northern border or in Gaza, or be waiting by the phone. Let him be victorious. And I don't want to oversimplify. And people love to say things like, well, we don't know the whole picture. That's what the people are fed a lot of times. You don't know the whole picture. And you don't know what the considerations are, and there's the United States and Trump, and we have to wait for him and all these things. But what I really mean to express to you is a general national.
Well, I know what the considerations aren't, right? If the consideration was total and swift victory, that's not the consideration. I know that.
Right. It doesn't feel that way, and that is hard to swallow for the people of Israel.
TYHW50 writes, Hashem Yikom HYD times 3, which means to say the 3 people who have fallen just in 2 days here. Let's keep going with the news.
Meanwhile, warfare is continuing to intensify. The IDF says it carried out a wave of strikes against Hezbollah targets across southern Lebanon over the weekend. According to the military, some 150 Hezbollah infrastructure sites were targeted, including weapons depots, command centers, rocket launchers, and other military facilities. The strikes come as the IDF issued new evacuation warnings for several villages. Now, over the weekend, Hezbollah continued drone attacks towards Israeli forces and border communities. 4 IDF reservists were moderately wounded by an explosive-laden drone launched by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. The military added that it will continue to act against Hezbollah operatives and infrastructure throughout southern Lebanon. And of course, today we saw attempts at rocket fire into Israel from Lebanon.
Okay, and I am hearing from my sources, Malkah, that the drone problem is very serious.
Right.
And soldiers are complaining that we do not have the technology to deal with the drones. And Israel's very good at technology, but we kind of catch up quickly when there's an emergency. But we fall behind, and right now we've fallen behind. These drones that are a lot of times are wired and therefore cannot be jammed radio wise are striking at soldiers and positions, and people keep getting hurt. And the fact is, we do not yet have a good defense against these drones. So that's still very serious. That's right now in Lebanon. Let's keep going.
And reports indicate here in Israel that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is giving diplomatic efforts in Lebanon more time. While IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir reportedly told ministers that if a ceasefire is to be reached, it is better to secure it now rather than fight for another month only to accept similar terms later. This as Lebanese President Joseph...
That is not what I want to hear from my Chief of Staff. I don't want to hear... okay, we might as well go to ceasefire now if we're just going to fight for another month and get the same deal. When you're the chief of staff, your job is to say, just let me kill them all. Let me fight until like they're destroyed. I want to vanquish my enemy. I don't want to hear from my chief of staff being like, well, if you want to say that, make it on a private phone call, but make sure it doesn't get out. But don't say, well, we might as well go for a ceasefire now instead of keep fighting. That is not the winning attitude. I don't want to hear that from my chief of staff. I want to hear.
Yeah, I don't know what the context is of that statement. I mean, if you back up for a second, like there is a logic there. He doesn't want to endanger his soldiers if they're just going to get sold out. So he's like, if you're selling out, sell out now, and I'll keep these kids safe, right?
Ridiculous.
But that kind of thing should never be publicized. I agree with you. That is not the kind of, it could be a discussion he had, some kind of internal discussion that he had with the prime minister, some kind of cabinet discussion. Listen, I want to continue with the war and rip these guys to shreds. But if you're going to sell us out, so do it now, and I'll send people home and they'll get to see their wife. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the part that the journalist took was, let's sell out now and send everyone to the home to see their wife. So
not the journalist, the chief of staff.
I'm saying whoever it is who leaked out this information.
Right. Let's keep going with the news.
UN has accused Iran of using Lebanon as a bargaining chip in its talks with the United States, saying Lebanese citizens are paying the price for Iranian interests. UN called on both Israel and Hezbollah to choose diplomacy over war. Let's hear.
It's a diplomacy. What diplomacy are we like? Is this like October 6th or 5th or 4th? Which one is this? What diplomacy are we talking about here? With whom? With Iran and Hezbollah? It's like, what are we talking about here? These words are so stupid sounding. It just sounds so stupid. What are you talking about? You're talking about the people that you send beepers to destroy all their commanders? Right. Yeah. They just want to stick to the old stuff endlessly. Okay. All right. Let's go.
What he had to say.
Prime Minister Netanyahu and Hezbollah, they have to understand that they are waging a futile war. The strategy that they are following is short-sighted, counterproductive, and believe me, it will never lead to the desired outcome. War, it's a bloody negotiation, whereas negotiation is a bloodless war. We have a great opportunity to end the state of hostility between Lebanon and Israel. We have a great opportunity for both the Lebanese and the Israeli people to live in safety and security. They are both, I think, fed up with war since 1948. This is a huge opportunity. So both they have to choose.
Can you pause here for a second, Yishai, please? I just want to set the record straight, okay? I'm an Israeli. And I would like to say that we are not fed up with wars. And we are ready to do whatever it takes for however long it takes to make sure that our children can sleep safely at night. So if you would like to talk about the people of Lebanon and talk about how they're sick of war, that's on you to do that, as sei gesund, as they say. But for the people of Israel, I want you to know that we are absolutely prepared to war as fiercely as we can for as long as we need to in order to make our country safe, our families safe, our children safe, and this whole region safe. Please
And
go
can
ahead.
I also speak in the voice of this guy?
Yeah.
I am not able to say what I want to say because they will kill me. And therefore, the subtext of what I am saying is like this: kill them, the Hezbollah, kill them, get rid of them, and then there will be peace for all of us. I can't say it, or else, they will get rid
Right.
of me. Okay, so please do me a favor, knock them out. Do you hear me? I'm screaming underneath between the lines. Okay,
Let's
that
do
is
them that favor.
right, exactly, and not actually fall for negotiations yet again.
War
Because this negotiation thing, it only leads to more war. Is that not the lesson that we have learned after October 7th? That
Malkah-
all this stuff, all this diplomacy stuff, it all leads back to the same thing, which is fighting and war. We want to fight the kind of war that ends war around.
That's
here.
right. That's right.
And we're ready to do that.
Very well. Malkah, look, IC9310 writes, Malkah, she's legit Hungarian. Okay, there you go. Somebody knows your soul, Malkah. Very good.
Right.
Okay. Let's finish up the news.
or negotiation or diplomacy.
The conflict between the United States and Iran escalated.
Okay, wait. So we dealt with the front that we have vis-a-vis regular Israel and jihadist Arabs who have become jihadists within Israel. We didn't deal much with Judea and Samaria, although there have been attacks here recently, even today, all kinds of rock throwings, tons of stuff. Then we have the Lebanon front, and here comes the Iran front, of which I have to say Donald Trump is not taking care of business. This whole negotiation with the Iranians, they're yo-yoing, playing with him now. And I have to say, I think that Donald Trump, greatest president of the United States, big friend of Israel. I support him, a million things, but he has not. He's showing himself, and that's the way the region understands. He's showing himself to be weak vis-a-vis the Iranian negotiations. He's not defeating them. He's not defeating with them. And so therefore, let's hear what she has to say vis-a-vis Iran right now.
Over the weekend, with American forces striking Iranian radar sites and Tehran responding by launching ballistic missiles towards Gulf states. U.S. Central Command wrote on its X account that American forces remain postured and ready to continue defending against Iranian aggression.
The Army is not supposed to be the big Twitter account, okay? Let the pundits do Twitter. Army is supposed to fire off armaments and munitions and destroy the enemy. Okay, we're totally ready, says the Army's X account. Yeah, don't talk on X when you're an Army. Okay, when you're an Army, destroy your enemies, show that you can do it, and do not show a face of weakness. This war is now dragging on. This war is becoming a quagmire, not because it's a quagmire intrinsically, but rather because it's not being fought with total victory and destruction of the enemies in sight with clarity. This whole business of negotiation, as the Lubavitcher Rebbe talked a lot about in the land of Israel, is itself a danger. And President Trump has now yo-yoed and flip-flopped a million times. I don't even pay attention anymore. And I think that right now we are, let's say he's not showing real Trumpiness right now. It's too much art of the deal, and the other people are the real artists. Okay. And so right now I'm feeling a little frustrated with this whole business.
He's being out deal made right now, basically.
But even he knows that. He knows that you can't out deal the Iranians.
Something is holding him back. Something is getting in his way.
Indeed. And right now, here's what Raeli 731 writes weak. And bottom line, it is weak. It doesn't matter how you spin it. What's the reason? It just seems right now weak. Too much appeasement should have been done already. Iraq was done in 3 months. All right. Let's keep finishing. Let's finish up.
CENTCOM says it targeted coastal surveillance radar installations in southern Iran after intercepting 4 Iranian attack drones that were threatening shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. According to CENTCOM, all 4 drones were shot down. Iranian state media said that
They're firing weapons at the Americans. This is your reason to smash them and not wait around and talk about negotiations all day long.
The drones were part of what it called a warning operation, while the Revolutionary Guard later claimed responsibility for launching ballistic missiles towards Kuwait and Bahrain. The exchange marks the latest flashpoint as the war between the United States, Israel, and Iran reaches its 100th day mark, even as diplomatic efforts to reach a nuclear agreement continue.
Okay, I thought it was going to go like, I thought that Trump was going to do this one round of like being like, well, I tried to negotiate with them and that's it. You know what I mean? And I could have been like, and I was like, good, that sounds okay. That makes sense to me. I tried to negotiate with them and they failed me and we had to do war and they're bad and the sin's on them, that type of thing. Shame on them. But like it keeps going back and forth. Luckily, by the way, I've stopped paying attention altogether. And like people are like, I'm still trying to figure out if there's going to be a war, if I should fly or not. I'm like, just fly. Just don't even worry about it anymore. Just do what you need to do. You need to fly. Don't worry about it. Like this word game is like an endless word game. And it's just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because the bad guys are still around and they could have been dealt with. And what message does this send to the bad guys and to the good guys? It sends a message that the bad guys are like, we can talk ourselves out of this. And to the good guys, it sends a message like, well, we're not going to erase the bad guys all the way.
Right.
We're not going to.
Yeah, there are lengths to which we're not willing to go to solve this problem. And the problem makers know it. And until we're ready to cross those lines, then they'll keep doing what they do.
Yeah. Says Jewish Radio Network SD. Trump is aware Congress is holding him back. You know what? That's just a poor
I heard Turkey is holding him back. I've heard a few stories about who's holding him back. I heard the Saudis are holding him back. There are a lot of
he's got to know that his waffling language at first was understandable. Now it's becoming too much to bear. And at the end, he's being laughed at. If I was speaking to President Trump, I'd be like, look, they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. They're playing with you like they played with other presidents. You've become like one of them, one of those guys that you were like, those guys are weak. You're becoming, I'm your fan. I'm speaking to you to help you and to help our region. And of course, with all that, I always wish I respect American involvement in this war, and I respect the fight against jihadism, and I respect all the various issues involved. But still, Israel's got to do what it has to do vis-a-vis Hezbollah, vis-a-vis Hamas, vis-a-vis the Palestinian Authority.
Right.
And of course, Malkah, in the next segment, we're going to talk about the other war where Israel is not doing so great. Bezrat Hashem will do better with the help of God. But right now, the media war and the narrative war, of which Israel's narrative is being eroded. Our good name is being eroded. And we have
luckily, Yishai, we have guys like you who are out there fighting the good fight, so that at least we got a little bit of representation out there.
You know what? I'm fighting the good fight, and I tell you, inside Malkah, in my heart, I just know that it's going to turn around in about 10 years. That's what I think. And not only turn around, it's going to turn around big.
I think I'll still look pretty good in 10 years.
What's that?
I think I'll be like photogenic for like that redemptive process in 10 years. I really would like that to happen before I'm all wrinkly,
Malkah.
I just want to look good for
when we're loved era. Again. That's right. Yeah. Malkah, you're a show hostess with the mostest. You have an engagement this evening. And so I it's sad. There you go, Malkah. You'll always look beautiful.
Thanks.
And just to match that, Yishai doing great.
Yeah, you are.
Great job. Truly.
Yeah, you are.
Bezrat Hashem. Well, we can't pat ourselves in the back too much. We got to do our job. And at the end, it's God's war, and we're fighting in this world. And God, in a sense, channels his strength through the Jewish people, and that is what we have to channel is his strength and win those victories, and then give him the credit because he's given us that strength. Malkah Fleisher, I want to thank you so much for being with me. I'm going to go on to media stuff. I wish I had more time with you this evening, but have a great time with your engagement this evening. Say hi to everybody, and we continue with the show. Toda rabah, and God bless you.
Okay, see ya.
Toda rabah, Malkah Fleisher. Hostess with the mostess. And shalom to you, wherever you are, my dear friends, my beloved friends. We're back live using this technology. I want to thank our producer, Yo, who's joining us, making sure that all you crazy critters out there in commentary land, in comments land, don't get out of control. And don't forget, folks, that we believe in let's agree to agree, which means let's talk about what we agree upon and not chew each other to pieces. And also, we don't proselytize other religions. This is a Jewish show. See, for example, Rachel Weinstein writes, Hashem is guiding and protecting Israel with the flag of Israel. That's what we believe in here. And if you believe in other gods and other things, that is absolutely your prerogative, but there's no proselytizing here on this show. And says, Susie, shalom from Eleuthera in the Bahamas. Sounds nice. Sounds nice out there. And Jewish Radio Network says, I love you both. We'll turn around absolutely big Bezrat Hashem. And says, Gary, great to see Malkah. God bless Israel. Shalom from Britain. Shalom, shalom. All right. Speaking of Britain, let us go on to somebody who is famously British. Oh, you know what? Before we get to our famously British segment, let's just show a little comedy. We love comedy because Jews bring comedy into this world. That's what we do. We take hard situations and we laugh at them. We've done that forever. Societies that kick out their Jews lose their sense of humor. Yochai Sponder, great Israeli comedian in English, he has a great segment about the ceasefire war. Let's check out Yochai Sponder.
Only in Israel. Only in Israel can be. This is a ceasefire and war. And everybody, it's a ceasefire war. We'll just move on. We'll take what you give. If that's the ceasefire, we'll take the war ceasefire. That's what we do. Why? Because this is our ceasefires. It's ceasefires. The name of the war in the check what I'm saying. It's true. The name of the war in the north called ceasefire war. I'm not even kidding. This is not a joke that I wrote. That's the name of the war. The war ceasefire. And it makes sense to everyone. Yeah, it's a ceasefire war. This is how a war.
Okay, very good, very true. Ceasefire war. And it is funny. And if it wasn't funny, it would be very sad because we're losing soldiers out there in this so-called ceasefire. And yet we got to be fighting so much harder to destroy our enemies and make sure that not another hair on anybody's head is on Jewish soldiers' heads is hurt. And instead, our enemies should feel the brunt of our firepower. And come on. Am I saying something complex here? Win at war. Don't play around with your soldiers' lives. Did I say something complex here? Simple stuff. You can explain it like this and like this. Just don't be stupid. Destroy the enemies. Defeat them. And people will respect you. That's the irony of it all. You'll be respected by the Arabs, by everybody else. They'll be like, yeah. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. All right. So before we had some people says, yo, I invite you all to join me in saying Psalms daily for the protection of our soldiers. It's a Jewish way is to say Psalms, and that those Psalms really bring God closer to us and bring his protection over our soldiers. And it's a strong way to do something. Okay. Thank you to all the people who are saying hi. Yishai and team are doing amazingly. Thank you. Toda rabah. Which are best for Psalms? Between 1 and 150. Those are the best Psalms. Between Psalm 1 and Psalm 150. The way we do it, of course, that's all the Psalms. The way we do it is we read it sequentially. Every day it's got its Psalms. But it doesn't matter. Just start with number 1 and go all the way to 150 and then go again. It's not like which Psalms are good. They're all good. Read them sequentially, get through it, start again. That's the way to do it. It's a very simple and great way. For the nations, for all of you who are not Jewish, a special psalm that I recommend is Psalm 67. Psalm 67 is a psalm that I recommend for the non-Jews. But in general, I recommend all of them. Just start from 1 and go to 150 and start again. Okie dokie. Taking a little breather here for a second. Okay. Okay. Good. Let's okay, let's now get to our next segment, and that is the segment that has to do with Britain. I think I just saw some importantly British comments. I think I saw people from anyway, people from England saying that they're coming to live in the land of Israel soon. What was that? Can I have that back again, please? I got one from hello from UK Jewish brothers and sisters across the globe. Shalom, Reptilian Reacts. And we have here also hi from Manchester, UK. So we got a lot of folks from England here. And a very famous Brit, no doubt, is Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan has a big show called Uncensored. And that show, I have the pleasure and the honor of from time to time having the opportunity to defend Israel. And I was on his show the other day, and I tried my best to defend against the accusation that Israel is somehow doing horrible things to the Flotilla folks, the folks that came to break a naval blockade that Israel has on the Hamas enemy, who launched a horrific, brutal sexual abuse and murder war against Israel on October 7th, almost 3 years ago. And now these Flotilla folks are doing a double whammy against Israel. One is that they're trying to break through a naval blockade. Are they bringing in weapons? What are they doing? The other thing is they're working with Turkey. They're working with other countries to blacken Israel's name. So if they're not successful in bringing in whatever measly, food that they're trying to bring in, which they're not, if they're trying to bring in weapons, whatever, that's not what we found on the ship so far. But the main thing that they're trying to do is to blacken Israel's name, like going on Piers Morgan and telling them sad stories about Israeli oppression. Let's watch together my appearance on Piers Morgan and see if we can understand what's going on. Take it apart.
A former advisor to Ben-Gvir, Yishai Fleisher, and the Gaza Flotilla detainee activist Alex Colston. Yishai Fleisher, welcome back to Uncensored. Look, we're getting a lot of different reports now coming in about Israeli abuse of Palestinian prisoners and detainees on these flotillas and so on. It can't all be just a figment of people's imagination. So what is your response to it?
I think that they were humiliated, but they were not abused. I think that the abuse narrative came about after the release of the May 2026 report of the horrific sexual abuse by Hamas. They wanted to counter this, and they started creating their fraudulent narrative about being sexually abused, et cetera, et cetera. The best one is that they accuse Israel of all kinds of physical violence, and yet there was no marks on them, right? You see them in videos coming in Turkey with their keffiyehs, and there's nothing on their necks, and there's nothing on their hands. There's no black and blue eyes. There's nothing. There is an image of a girl who's coming out with a neck brace, and then the next day she's smiling without a neck brace. It's a put-on. It's a put-on. They want to besmirch. That's their whole tactic. These are folks trying to break internationally recognized legal blockade of Gaza, which is part of war. It's a normative part of war. They're trying to break that. That means that they're enemy combatants. They were arrested. They were detained. They were humiliated. Definitely. They were humiliated, and they should be exposed for what they are, which is obsessed Israel haters. Did you notice, by the way, the necklace that Katrina was wearing? She was wearing a necklace that had the whole map of Israel on it, and she presumably thinks that should be all Palestine. In other words, She wants to erase Israel. That was the necklace that she was wearing on your show just a minute ago. She wants to erase and destroy Israel. She'll use any tactic, especially lies and the Christoph report about rape dogs and stuff like that. Sure, that's the new creation that they've manifested, that they've imagined in order to counter the true 250-page report about Hamas sexual abuse, about Hamas terrorists cutting off breasts and doing who knows what awful stuff.
Yeah, but what's interesting to me, though, Yishai, is that you seem...
Okay, so here, as you can see, I kind of opened up with a salvo. He asked me whether the Flotilla thing, the accusations of Israeli abuse are a lie. And I said, yeah, they are a lie. It's a PR bonanza. It's a created PR story that Israel abused these Flotilla folks who are, by the definitions of war, enemy combatants. They came in to try to break a blockade that whatever their guise was, this humanitarian guise, this put on, was indeed just that. And I called it out. I tried to call it out. And here's Piers. He's going to now show a video. I think he's going to show a video in a second of this supposed abuse. Let's take a look at it together.
I'm very happy to believe absolutely everything that's been alleged that Hamas did, but absolutely nothing that's been alleged by what the Israeli forces have done. And I would simply play you the video of the young woman I just interviewed, Katrina Graham, who was detained on one of these flotillas. This is what happened to her. I cut that because we don't...
Okay, so you saw that video, right? She was pushed down. She was pushed down. She was made to sit, right? Now, honest to God, what did that look like to you? Am I saying it's like the funnest, nicest thing in the world? No. But that is not abuse. That is police action. That is detention. That is, you'd see that in any prison in the United States. I literally visited prison a few times in a professional capacity or in a student capacity as well. I saw 10 times stronger than that, 10 times rougher than that. And the same thing with police trying to subdue somebody that they're arresting. Have you not seen those police, TV shows? Did that look to you like a serious thing? Like a serious abuse? Wow. And Piers Morgan, right? He's gonna talk all about it again and again and again. It's like, is this a joke? And by the way, they didn't show these very same protesters in Spain and in Vienna being kicked the crap out of them. Right? And it was just like, and with gashes. And it's like, look what they did. Look what they did. Wow. They pushed the girl's head down, made her sit on the floor and shut up. Unbelievable. You see it, as we call it in law school, prima facie. You see prima facie that this is the extent of the concern that they have. This is it. This is their big proof. This video. I'm like, if this is the video that you have, how pathetic is this thing? How puny? What a joke. Right? It's like this is it. This is your big proof of abuse. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, you could just go to cable TV and watch one of those cop shows and you'd see like 10 times more in a minute. Piers Morgan's like, look at this abuse. Look, she was abused. Look, we get into a whole discussion about it.
And to see the rest of that video.
That's the kind of police action.
Well, just to be clear,
that you would see. Anyway.
Well, but just to be clear, she was shouting "Free, free Palestine."
Did she look like she was sexually abused there?
No, I didn't say that.
She was humiliated. She was detained.
She was physically.
She was
physically abused. She was shouting "Free, free Palestine."
Abuse is not the right word. That was a police action.
You're allowed to say "free, free."
The difference between...
Yeah, but my point is that even when you watch something, which
you can't tell us what you're allowed to say, not allowed to say. She was incarcerated.
No, I can say what I like.
See, he says he misunderstood me. He thought I was saying that you're not allowed to say. I mean to say you can't tell our police what are the levels of shouting or disruption that we'll tolerate. You can't tell us that. I was trying to say to him, but he misunderstood me.
I can say what I like.
Don't tell me what she's allowed.
I can say what I.
Okay, but we don't.
No, I know you're not going to believe it.
Piers, but
I'm just saying though that
what we're going to do in our military actions.
No, that's fine.
We have to fight against enemies. She was accosting a minister,
and
the police brought her down.
She wasn't accosting anybody.
I'm in New York right now.
The video showed her accosting nobody.
New York.
The video didn't show her accosting anybody.
She was part of a flotilla to try to break a blockade.
Who was she accosting?
She's therefore an enemy combatant.
Who did she accost?
She was accosting the minister. She was accosting the police.
When was she accosting anybody?
Riotous. By the way, Piers, they were treated much worse in the Spanish airport and in Vienna.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what
traffic.
the Israelis did to these detainees. On the very day that people
video,
like
if
Yishai,
you want to use that video as proof of abuse, it's absurdity.
On the day that people like you, and you're perfectly entitled to, but were out there saying all the allegations of mistreatment of detainees are completely untrue and a blood libel against the Israelis and so on, Ben-Gvir, a member of the government, literally posts on his own social media clear, compelling evidence of a young female detainee being physically assaulted.
I would not call that assaulted. I would call that a police action. I think actually that video proves exactly the opposite. That's the extent of it. She was made to sit down. She was made to shut up, and she was causing a problem. They had a lot of detainees.
She was shouting,
they wanted
free,
to subdue
free
them.
Palestine.
She was subdued. She was subdued by the police.
Right.
And that's okay. I don't see that as abuse.
Would you do that to a woman for talking in a way you didn't like?
If I was a police officer, concerned with the riot, I certainly would. And I think that video, if that's the extent of the video that you're going to show, and then listen to the rest of their claims about sexual violence, et cetera, rape dogs, and all the stuff that they invent, I think that any a person with eyes could see that is not a proof of abuse. That is a police action that you could see on any corner of Chicago.
I think if you don't think that's how people viewed it.
Okay, so you can see the disagreement that I had with Piers. And again, if you watch what these very same protesters went through in Spain and in Vienna, they were kicking the living daylights out of them with gashes and batons. And this girl was like pushed down, and Piers Morgan's making a big thing. And then he says to me, he says, well, you guys are claiming that's a blood libel. Well, I'm going to have to stand by that because it's really, it's an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration. That was not, she was detained as an enemy combatant. She was yelling in the prime minister's face, in one of the minister's faces. And the police subdued her for a second. She was under arrest. You think that in prison, do you think that in American prison, if you yell at one of the guards like that and you start, yelling some kind of protest thing, you're not going to be subdued? Of course you will. They know that if you allow such stuff to happen, then you're going to lose control. It's like self-evident to me. And I'm amazed about this proportionality problem. It was, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you think. But to me, it was really clear evidence of not abuse. If that's the extent of the video that you're releasing, I'm sorry. There was one more segment that was, I guess, important. So let's watch that. By the way, you're watching Yishai Fleisher TV. We do believe in building Israel together. You can be part of it. You can be part in building Israel together with me. Bezrat Hashem, with the help of God. Check out buildisrael.com. Easy. And do me a favor. Help us get over the algorithmic hump that we're dealing with. It's okay. You know what I mean? Our voice shall be amplified. And there will be platforms that will amplify it. Baruch Hashem. But do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment, makes a difference. Help the algorithm realize that this truth needs to get out. It brings balance to the internet. It brings at least a perspective. You don't have to buy it, but it's a perspective that's important. People talking a lot about us. Let us get our truth out there. Let's together make God's name great again. Simple. Okay, let's watch part 2 of this video. And here is another snippet from Piers Morgan's show.
Irish Prime Minister Martin said he was appalled at the shocking behaviour. Even Netanyahu said it wasn't in line with Israel's values. Emmanuel Macron said there was a lot of anger across the EU at the video. So you might be in a very small audience of yourself.
There was a humiliation done to those.
Well, there was actually a physical assault.
Flotilla,
we saw it. Let me bring in.
breakers.
Let me bring in Alex Colston. You were also a Gaza Flotilla detainee. What is your reaction there? You just heard Yishai Fleisher saying that nothing to see here.
Thanks for having me on, Piers. If you both will permit me before I get into a debate that I'm not totally sure I want to have, just to get some immediate context about why the flotilla, set sail in the first place. Yeah. On top of the tens of thousands known to be killed in Gaza over the past 3 years, unilateral Israeli attacks have killed over 930 Palestinians, as Kat said. Daily aid deliveries have dropped to less than 100 trucks a day, drastically short of the needed 500 or 600 daily trucks with food and essential supplies. Palestinians in Gaza live with rampant infections, diseases, starvation, and chronic medical conditions that are killing them, while civilians are unable to access basic goods. And they also remain exposed to ongoing Israeli violence and environmental risk caused by Israel. There has been total and permanent damage inflicted on Gaza's decimated healthcare system and basic infrastructure. In Israel's torturous and depraved prison system, there are over 9,000 political prisoners, including 400 children. The UN has recently blacklisted, as Piers said. Israel is now aiming to control over 70% of the Gaza Strip, and the illegal settlements continue to expand. These settlements are illegal, and they involve violent displacement of Palestinians. Near daily Israeli strikes hit southern Lebanon. Over the weekend, Israeli airstrike with U.S.-made Apache helicopters killed at least 2 Palestinians and wounded over a dozen more at a crowd.
Here's just an example. Everything that he says is a litany of lies and boilerplate scripts, and he just reads it off. Blah 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 blah. This bad, this bad. You could say anything, right? Israel killed 2 Lebanese. Yeah, they were Hezbollah terrorists. They were shooting, so they got shot back, right? Israel is not the one that turned Gaza into a hellish nightmare. It's the folks that took over Gaza, when we stupidly and awfully gave away our land to the PA that got taken over by Hamas. Hamas took international money and built a terror system underneath there. Where's Alex, whatever he is, Alex complaining that, Hamas turned the whole place into a war machine, neglected its people, turned hospitals into military fronts, military bases, so that they could use actively civilian cover to shoot at civilians. Alex Colston, whatever's Colston, he's a fake. The whole thing's a fake. You can hear it. It's like, la, 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 la. I've been told to say this. I've been pre-programmed. I could say whatever because I'm a bot. He's like a human bot. He's out there to be a jihad bot. Jihad bot. Jihad butt, okay? That's what this guy is. And he's out there spewing his lies. No proofs. Inflated numbers. No bad guys. Of course, there's no jihad in his mind, right? We've got videos of Hamas murdering its people the minute that they have a chance. They're murdering Gazans. He couldn't give a damn about Hamas murdering their own. And he doesn't care about other problems around the world. Could not give a damn about human rights. He's only about one thing, the destruction of Israel. And I say this, and I'll say it in a minute, you'll hear it. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is the modern iteration of that. He's dressed up as a liberal and a progressive and a human rights guy, but he's a spokesman for the jihad. He deflects away from them and takes all his human rights credentials and throws them at the only human rights country in the region, which is Israel.
A cafe near one of Gaza's seaports, a place where the flotilla potentially could have moored when it reached Gaza. Yesterday, apparently some of the flotilla's solar panels washed up on Gaza's shores, but one Palestinian on the scene described as a small source of hope and care. And I say all this because
the flotillas have no aid on them. The whole thing is a sham. Israel supplies so much aid into Gaza, too much, right? Because it all falls in the hands of terrorists. But these guys weren't bringing aid. They had one goal, and that's to besmirch the good name of Israel.
Because you need the context for understanding why we sailed. And you also need the context to know that this is what the Israelis are doing daily, to understand that they're perfectly capable of brutalizing the flotilla participants, because they're perfectly capable, and they do, with well-documented evidence, brutalize Palestinians every single day, and they kill Palestinians in Gaza every single day. You're asking me to somehow question or debate the fact of Israeli violence. There's no world in which that makes any sense. It's a completely preposterous set of debate parameters. Clearly, the Israeli military and the Israeli forces are astronomically violent to the Palestinians, and I've witnessed firsthand that they were violent to me, to the people next.
This is the same guy that claimed that he had his wrists tied in such a way that he lost feeling in them. Next day, he's fine. Not one mark on his wrist. They showed it. Another guy claimed that his neck was tied up. Nothing. No black and blue marks. No black eyes. Nothing. I witnessed firsthand. You're a firsthand liar. We also witnessed firsthand your incarceration and your release, and you were fine. So we know that you lie. You are a liar. Liar.
Next to me, tased, beaten, kicked. I've seen the bruises myself. The Turkish medical authorities kept them in the hospital until last Monday.
Ooh, the Turks. The Turks kept them in the hospital. Have you ever watched TRT, which is Turkish anti-Israel television? It is a machine of propaganda against Israel. So yeah, they kept them for a few days in the hospital. That is proof of nothing. In fact, it's proof that they're part of the machination of propaganda against Israel.
Are they also lying? Are they also enemy combatants?
Oh, yes.
How the logic works. It's so.
What's illogical about that? Are they also lying? Yes. Are they enemy combatants? Erdogan? Yes. Which part of that? Where was the logical problem there? What? That Turkey is an enemy to Israel and they would do everything to destroy Israel? What's the logical problem?
Slippery. There is clear, systematic evidence of Israeli violence every single day. And you're asking me to debate whether that's the case. We know that's the case. So what's the point of this debate?
Right. We know because I said it's true, and therefore I don't understand why I should debate you, because clearly eye rolling, I'm right. No, I won't present any facts because I don't have any, or I will present facts that are easily proven to be lies. But like, why should I even engage with you? Because I'm so clearly, and that's the haughtiness of the progressive anti-Israel crowd. It's like, of course, but of course, would you pass the Grey Poupon? It's like it's like a haughty, posture, and that's their whole thing. It's just like a kind of a hot air, and he's like, I don't even understand why I should even speak to this non-human thing called Israel, called Jew.
Okay, Yishai Fleisher, what's your response to that?
Well, first thing is that the flotilla members themselves were accused of sexual misconduct on the ships, including this Diego Avila, that one of the Palestinian organizations were like, this guy's making sexual trouble for the other participants. But in any case, they weren't going to bring any humanitarian aid. The humanitarian aid comes through Israel. We have 100,000 humanitarian aid trucks have come in, 1.7 million tons of food, 55 tons of medical needs have come through. These guys, the flotilla guys, they're not about helping Palestinians. This whole thing is a sham. This guy is, in fact, a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a pro-jihad shill. If you go through his X account, you'll not see anything about the Sudanese 14 million people that have been displaced, or the Iranian people that 40,000 people have been murdered in the streets, or Nigeria. He doesn't care. He has one goal. His goal is to besmirch Israel. That's his little role. He's a lackey of the jihad to do that. His job is to besmirch our name around the world. When he came off, he said that he was tied and his hands, we saw his wrists, nothing on it. The whole thing is a sham. He is part of an enemy combatant. He was treated as such by the Israeli military and the Israeli police. He was humiliated, as he should be, and he should be exposed for what he really is, which is an obsessed person with Israel, a person who lies constantly and consistently, a person who doesn't tell you the truth. I have been an Israeli soldier. I have been at those checkpoints. I've dealt with Arabs, and I know about the decency and the dignity that we have to maintain, that we try to maintain, while at the same time fighting the jihad, fighting a world with an ideology to destroy Israel, to destroy our small Jewish state. That's what this thing's about. These people, by the way, his organization, they don't even capitalize the word Israel. They purposefully decapitalize it so that they could be like, to show how repugnant Israel to them, how much they want to see it destroyed. He doesn't want to see two states living side by side. He doesn't want to see rights for Palestinians. He wants to see the destruction of Israel. That's what he is. He's just a wolf in sheep's clothing. He puts on liberal, humanitarian, this look, I'm helping people. You're not helping anybody. You're just making trouble, and you were beaten. Not by Israel, but by the Spaniards and Vienna and other places, beaten around the world for being troublemakers. In Israel, they were humiliated, as they should have been, and really they should be exposed for the liars that they are.
Okay. Looks like I was not going to take their guff over there. And again, they should be exposed for the liars that they are. I want to thank Piers Morgan for having me on and give me the opportunity to speak. I wish that Piers would bring less of these haters on. But okay, that's where we're at today in this world. And at least I get a chance to counter some of those lies. And by the way, the other purpose that I have of coming on the show is not just to counter lies, but to also show a posture of strength and self-confidence, and to send a signal to the would-be haters that they're not going to stop us so easily, that we're not going to give up easily, that we have an inner force, a forthrightness, a truth that is not defeatable. And they've got to know that. They've got to feel that. They got to feel that. They got to feel that when they start up with us. They got to be like, well, these Jews, they're not going anywhere. They're strong. They have a faith. They have an identity. And that's why also people who lose identity, a lot of the woke progressive types, hate Israel so much, because it stands for identity, and it stands for God, and it stands for resilience and push back against jihad, something that they've given up on. And so Israel kind of is embarrassing to them, because instead of loving their Jews, they've kicked them out. They've hated them. And they've lost the plot. They've lost their countries. And so they hate us for that as well. Okay. I hope we had fun with that. That was really fun to be on Piers Morgan. I hope I get a chance to defend Israel some more. All right. I hope we're having fun here together, friends. Says Arf Mordechai, I would really like to see Yishai appear in trigonometry. I'm going to reach out to the folks that are trigonometry and see if I could get on and get an opportunity to appear there as well. And we're going to keep fighting our fight. Bezrat Hashem. Let's take a deep breath for a second. We are doing live TV, so it's great to have you guys wherever you are. I want to send you blessings from the good land, from the land of blessings, and really send you a good energy. And I am far from the only one who is fighting the fight. Check out this video that I saw on Instagram. I'm not sure what this gal's name is, but fabulous explanation to the Europeans and to those who have lost to the jihad. A very strong video. Let's watch.
To the world. You lost. Look at your streets, burning, paralyzed, divided. Look what happened in Gaza after one day our military left. Hamas started executing its own people. You got fooled. You actually believe you were standing up for what's right. You convinced yourself you were the voice of justice, but you were played. All of you. A conflict in a tiny piece of land far away from your comfortable lives. Rip the mask off and expose what you really are. Naive, weak, and blind. You lost. You lost the ability to think for yourself. You lost the courage to question the slogan someone else fed you. You lost the strength to stand on principle instead of What's cool? And you still dare to say that we run the world? That we control the media? Look around. We don't control a damn thing. You do. And you handed that control over to regimes like Qatar. The same Qatar that hosts terrorist leaders in luxury while funneling money into your universities, your influencers, your media. They use money, infrastructure, media, academia, all of it to seed narratives favorable to their agenda, to tear down the West. And you think we're pulling the strings? Believe me, if that were the case, you wouldn't be calling Zionists Nazis. You wouldn't be banning Israeli companies calling to demolish Israel from the river to the sea. You wouldn't be marching in your capital chanting Intifada, a word that literally means killing Jews. This isn't about Israel anymore. It's about you, your streets, your democracy, your mind, all hijacked by a war that isn't even yours. And you let it happen. You opened the door. So yeah, you lost. And the worst part, you don't even know it yet.
I'm sorry, I can't add a word. I can't add a word. How right is this gal? She's so right. She's like, you lost. You lost your ability to think. And then you blame us for those horrible mistakes. Oh my gosh, she's so right. And who do you allow to take over? Who do you allow to take over? The Qataris. That's who you have allowed to take over your mind, your media, your universities. And then you claim that the Jews control everything. What a joke. Rich DeBusk comes in strong with support through super chats. He says, your willingness to boldly speak God's truth about Israel excites my Christian Zionist heart. Carry on, Yishai. Thank you very much. And we are believers in the Bible. We are believers in God. And I got to tell you something, Rich. The progress in Israel is astounding. And me, I seem to you guys like a media guy, and I do media, but my other life is in beautification, restoration of the land of Israel. And just today I was involved in a beautiful project. We're building it. We're building it for the next generation. Our next generation are believers. And we are building Jerusalem for the nations who will repent, who will have to repent, who need to repent. That is what's happening. And therefore, Rich, I have tremendous confidence, tremendous excitement. And sometimes even when we face algorithmic downturns or stumbling blocks, we keep going so strong. The truth is with us. We know it. We have confidence. We have God. We have faith in him. We have faith in ourselves. We have faith in destiny and in providence and in opportunity. And we take responsibility. That's the time that we're living in right now. So thank you very much, Risk. And everybody's invited to Super Chat. I forgot I have been away from my live stream for a few weeks. So Super Chatting it up is a great way to support the show. With more live streams, and all will be well. That's right. We shall live stream. Oh, yes, we shall. We shall live stream. All right. Let's do just a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to do a segment now. There will be some cussing, which is not the way that we like to do it here at Yishai Fleisher TV. We like to not have that. We try very much to make this into a family channel. But there's a segment that I want to play here. There was a big explosive issue that went around the world, and that was the issue of President Trump telling Netanyahu that he's crazy. Before I go to that, I want to thank Rachel Weinstein. I'm Yisrael Chai. Thank you for your support, Rachel. And blessings to you. God bless you wherever you are out there. Buy that property in the land of Israel. Drink wine from the land of Israel. And connect to those blessings. And thank you for sending blessings. And I send you blessings right back. So as I was saying, let's start again. Last week, there was this big to-do about this call between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. And at some point, supposedly, President Trump said, you're effing crazy. He said to Netanyahu. Now, you know how these guys are, right? It's two two leaders and they're talking, we should do this, we should do this. And one leader says to the other, dude, man, you're effing crazy. It doesn't mean like you're effing crazy. It just means, bro, you're effing crazy. That's crazy. We can't do it that way. But the media blew it up. And here's Prime Minister Netanyahu explaining this discussion that Trump and Netanyahu had.
Let's talk about the call that you had with him this week, which is getting a lot of attention. The president confirmed that he said you're effing crazy. How did you react to that? What really happened in that call?
Well, I'm not going to get into details of our conversations. We've had thousands, well, a lot of them. And if you think this is a crisis, you should be in some other conversations. But we've always found a way. We have so many agreements. We agree on the main things. We want to get Iran, the nuclear program in Iran, finished. We want to make sure that Iran doesn't pose a threat to Israel, to the Middle East, to America, that it doesn't develop nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them, not only to Israel and to every capital in Europe, but to every city in the United States. That's our common goal. That's what we set out to do. And to expand the circle of peace, as the president and I did in the Abraham Accords together. So we have common goals. Sometimes we have, as in the best of families, you have these tactical disagreements. We always find a way to work them out. And we do so as great friends. We can disagree in the morning, and by the afternoon we have we're common action.
So I was going to say.
Okay, so you know what? I believe Prime Minister Netanyahu in this case. He's like, yeah, you should have been in some other calls. You know, you think that President Trump doesn't throw the F-bomb around? You think that he doesn't sometimes get angry or be like, no, there's no effing way we can do that, right? I'm sure he does. And like the media made such a thing out of this. I totally believe Prime Minister Netanyahu when he says like, listen, we had a discussion. We didn't see eye to eye or something. And you know, the president said what he said. I'm pretty sure that Netanyahu doesn't throw the F-bomb around. But who knows? Bottom line is, you know, an exaggerated representation of a divide that's not there. There's a guy on the internet, you know, white supremacist, misogynist, anti-Jewish, anti-black, but not stupid. His name is Nick Fuentes. And Nick, when I say not stupid, okay, he's not stupid usually, but in this case, what a bunch of stupidity did he unleash. Silly. Just such silliness. Silliness squared. Silliness, you know, with no like no humor and just no self-doubt and just such a wrong-headed analysis. Let's take a look. And here is where you have to ask my forgiveness, and we'll edit it out in post. But there's some F-bombs here, as is the unhinged, you know, when people who don't care about family values sometimes throw out unnecessary curses. Here's what Nick Fuentes, how he understood the discussion between President Trump and Netanyahu.
Is reporting that Trump had a very terse phone call with Netanyahu. Trump called him up and he let him have it. Trump said, "What the fuck are you doing? You're invading Lebanon. You're going to make everyone hate Israel." How?
Already you could see the mistake. It's as though two world leaders, as though Trump is yelling at Netanyahu. Who said that? And who said it was so tense? It was probably much more like I described, like that's effing crazy. Don't do that. It's much more like that than this. Like, okay, he's yelling at him, because I want to tell you something. That's Nick Fuentes' inner world. That's his world. His world is about power and supremacy and cursing down on other people. And that's the way he views the world. He's pushing down because he thinks people want to push down on him. He lives this mental world is a reflection of his inner self. Okay. He thinks that way. That's the way he thinks the world is. He thinks that Trump called Netanyahu and he was bashing him down.
How could you do this? I got you out of jail. You owe me. And then this.
You see that? It's all about like, you owe me, not while we're two leaders pushing our countries together. It's all about power. His whole, and this is a Nietzschean outlook. And I promise you that Fuentes is a type of Nietzschean. He thinks that it's all about dog eat dog. One dog is more powerful than the next dog. and turtles all the way down type of thing. And it's all about suppression and who can suppress, and am I empowered? Who are you? Are you undermining my power? That's his whole world outlook, because that's his inner emotional outlook. It's a projection. Okay. And I saved you from jail. You owe me.
Story about the conversation was planted in the press today. And we are all supposed to believe that Trump is very unhappy with Netanyahu.
No, we're not. No, we're not all supposed to believe that. You believe that, but we're not supposed to believe that. They just had a conversation where they were using expletives as men of power do. I don't believe that for a second. You created that narrative. You want to broadcast the Axios story in that way.
And you know what is the punchline about this? This is exactly what Joe Biden did throughout 2024 when the genocide was ongoing in Gaza, when it was
This is when I lose respect for people like Nick Fuentes. I don't mind that you're a combatant, but I just think of you as a guy who would not repeat the stupidity of the genocide, blood libel, false claim. You cause me to disrespect you more when I just think of you as a guy who wouldn't mouth those stupid lies that are so easily disproven by the thousands of videos that you have of markets in Gaza open and restaurants, pop-up restaurants, and on the other side, the Hamas killing their own people. That's the truth. You're going to mouth now the Israeli genocide narrative. That's just below you, in my opinion.
Most intense that it ever was. Biden was begging Netanyahu to stop. Please stop killing them. Please, it's ruining my presidency. Please, you're costing us the election. And Netanyahu refused. Netanyahu was taking foreign aid with both hands, and then he was doing whatever he wanted to do. So what Biden
was trying to stop Israel from fighting a just war. And Netanyahu had to keep fighting that war because we had terrorists who had just done a wholesale murder on our people, and we had to push them back. Biden was not pro-Israel. Biden was stopping armament shipping to Israel. Biden he was part of the Iranian nuclear deal under Obama. Biden is a combatant. Biden wants to shrink Israel. Okay, so that's what Biden did, and Netanyahu courageously had to keep fighting a war.
Do in response is he would leak these types of stories, exactly this, to the Washington Post. And so every month you would get a story. Biden and Netanyahu had a very bad phone call.
Now I believe that, right? Because Biden and Netanyahu were on opposite sides, and Netanyahu couldn't wait until Biden got out of office. Remember that? He was just praying for the day that Trump would get into office. By the way, I just want to say parenthetically, right? I want Israel to act independently and for its own interests. In this case, when we have a just war against Iran, it's good for both of our nations, but I think Israel should defend itself for its own sakes. Okay, but now Fuentes is going to take this narrative that he's weaved about Netanyahu and Biden and how Biden could not overcome Netanyahu, but they were literally at odds. He's going to bring that into the Trump Netanyahu story.
Biden said, listen up, Jack. We are not happy. And this just goes to show the impotence of the United States. We can do nothing. This is all we can do to Israel. Israel is 100% dependent on us.
What happened there? I missed it. What did you say about 100% dependent on us? I missed it. Where did that come from? If you listen to Fuentes and other times, he'll be like, no, Israel's very powerful. The Jews are very powerful. They're ancient. And now suddenly we're totally dependent on them. We have a very important global partnership with the United States. And today the United States is, one of the great superpowers, and we're very blessed to be aligned with them. Although parenthetically, let's be honest, ever since we got the alignment with the United States, we haven't won a war, right? The United States aligned with Israel after the 6-Day War and basically caused us to lose a string of wars or not win. Basically, we continue to survive. And yet we have also blessings, especially economic blessings with partnership with the United States. But this idea of dependence is a hater narrative. Israel is an independent country. Israel has partnerships, but we are an independent country. And by the way, notice that other independent countries do what they want as well. Ukraine, Russia, they have their conflict. And, nobody's able to stop that because they have their problems, their issues. Israel continues to fight with Gaza. The pressure that was put on us to relinquish land to the Palestinian Authority and to Hamas is what caused this. And now finally we're cleaning up the mess that American policy forced upon us, which is to give up land, to believe in the lie of land for peace. And it's American influence that has caused this war. And now Prime Minister Netanyahu had to tell Biden, listen, we got to fight this war now. We got to clean up this awful mess. We've allowed Gaza to turn into the front of Hamas. And we should have never listened to you throughout all these years. Biden has been an avowed Israel shrinker his whole career. Now we have to fight this war and clean up the mess because of your bad policies. But again, now watch how Fuentes, again, he's a Nietzschean. It's all about power and control. Here's how he spins it around.
We are fighting their wars. Our president is doing personal and political favors for this government, and we cannot get them to do anything. Our economy is about to fucking explode. We're talking about gas shortages in September. Okay? We are running out of fuel. It's over. It's already over.
You want fuel? Take control of the Iranian regime depot fuel. Okay? By the way, America, #1 producer of energy. There's no reason to run out of fuel. Open it up. Make it a little bit more costly, but you can help a lot of people have a lot of jobs in America by buying American oil and gas. It might be a little bit more expensive. It might be shale oil, whatever it is, but there's no shortages that need to happen. America, #1 producer of oil and gas. And if you want to control the Straits of Hormuz, do that. Take control of the shipping lanes, control world oil. This is your great opportunity. What are you talking about? Israel and America's war against Iran is about control of energy. It could be about control of energy if more was done to control that energy. How are you seeing that the fight against Iran, which is a global terrorist power with a lot of control about energy export, how is pushing them back hurting the United States? It's the opposite. In the long run, it's a blessing for the United States and certainly a blessing for Israel.
Even if the strait opens tomorrow, it's over. The economy's crashing. We're running out of gas. This is what we have to resort to. We have to go and gossip to Axios, which is like a third-rate public. I read it every day. And I know some people there. Some of the journalists there talk to me, and some of them are okay. But this is not even like the Washington Post. It's not the Journal. You're talking to Axios saying, hey, could you guys tell everybody that Netanyahu is not cool?
No, bro, that's not at all how it happened. Axios, it has reporters that have an axe to grind with Israel, and they're looking to spin stories. This story that you're talking about is an exaggeration. This story is not the way it went down. And you saw Netanyahu's face. It's like, no, that's not how it went down at all. And the reason that you're doing this whole thing about Axios is because you're trying to besmirch Israel, who you hate, who you have a problem with, who you're afraid of because of your weird Nietzschean mind and other issues that you have in your personal life. You have these fears against the godly country and against the future of Israel, which you sense is going to be glorious, but you hate. And now you're taking the story and exploding it, out of proportion.
Trump and his aides are calling up Axios.
Do you think that aides like what? Like Marco Rubio? Like what? Like Pete Hegseth? Like Huckabee? Like who are his aides that are calling up Axios? If aides are calling up Axios, it's probably the more anti-Israel wing of the White House, which is trying to stir trouble and make tension between Trump and Netanyahu on a global scale. But it's not Trump's people. It's not his good people. It's probably some element that's anti-Israel, if that's true. But in any case, I think the whole thing is just an exaggeration, which this guy's harping on purpose.
Hey, listen, you got to...
Susie says, I cannot see the mass appeal of this guy to younger folks. Susie, it's simple. It's simple. It's about power. It's about some kind of like It's about fetishism. It's about hating other people and talking about how bad other people are is a way that you gain legitimacy and power for yourself. It's about a lack of self-confidence. It's about like incels yelling at everybody. And he is a type of, he's an angry young man type of thing. There's clearly personal issues there as well. And here he is, hating. Hating is very powerful. Never forget that. Hate is a very powerful thing in this world. And I'm not here to preach love, love, love. I think that evil has to be hated. Okay. But in this case, he's blowing up the hate. Then he's like, look, the Trump administration had to go to Axios to no. Axios tries to find hate, which you use. That's the real truth. All right, let's finish up with the Nick Fuentes.
Get the word out. Trump and Netanyahu are not cool. They just had a very bad phone call. It is not okay. Because we can do nothing else. We can't take their money. We can't
take our money. Israel's been a blessing for the United States, and the Jewish people have been a blessing for the United States in so many ways. In so many ways. I heard once a podcast about all the various ways that the Jewish people have contributed to American society, from even things like, from entertainment, sports, technology, financial. Like, actually, the Jewish people have been a massive blessing. And this guy, along with Tucker and Candace, are actually a force to undermine the blessings of the United States by introducing this hate against the Jewish people. That's the truth. He is a force against the blessings of the United States. He's against Israel, but at the end, it actually will undermine the blessing of the United States. And it's sad. And he purports himself to be some kind of pro-American guy, or America first. He's not. He really wants to bury America. And it's all about this Nietzschean, which is at the end, Third Reichian way of looking at this world, which is at the end is self-destructive.
Them. We can't put a blockade on their economy.
Why would you want to blockade Israel's economy? How stupid is that? How stupid? Just the words itself it's just retarded. Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you want for a second to put a blockade on Israel's economy? That's like blocking one of your best trading partners.
All we could do is bitch on the phone to this guy and then tell the press. That's the dynamic.
For a guy who's smart, that was a lot of dumbness, really, like a lot of dumbness. I want to remind you folks to like, subscribe, and comment. We are really putting out a lot of great stuff here. When I say like, subscribe, and comment, do it when you hear this right now. Don't do it later. Do it right now. It makes a big difference. All right. Yeah. So like, subscribe, and comment makes a big difference. And thank you very much. We're having so much fun here together, right? Okay. One last video, and then one last, let's call it little baby rant, little Torah rant, and then we're out. Here's a very important video. Check this out. Remember, I was telling you just now that that anti-Semitism is self-destructive, right? It's self-destructive to the host. The Jewish people have faced anti-Semitism. It hurts, it burns, but we continue to survive. But the host country or organization or entity suffers because anti-Semitism is a type of loss of realistic vision. It's boogeyman-ish. You blame another person, and it cuts off your blessings from Hashem, from God. Check out Candace Owens and the simple question that's asked of her. Okay, as we're already having so much fun with all the other, Fuentes and all the other guys, let's have a little bit of fun with Candace Owens. Check out this video.
People to know or hear from you that you really are not an anti-Semite.
Yes.
That you are not a person who has anything against Jews. And when
Jewish, Jew, a Jew, Jewish, Jewish, a Jew, Jewish, Jews, Jewish, I'm obsessed with the Jews. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews, 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 Jewish, 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 Jews, Jews, Jewish, 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 Jewish,
You are not a person who has anything against Jews, and you're just criticizing a foreign policy of a country.
Oh my God. How brilliant is that? How true is that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Just unbelievable. The amount of like hate. And it's so clear that it's not anti-Zionism. It's not anti-Zionism. It's anti-Israelism, anti-Judaism, anti-Jewish people. It's just plain old obsessive hate. And these few people, the Tuckers, the Candaces, and the Fuenteses, who are they destructive for? They're destructive for America. They're destructive for America. And they're sick. And they are a disease. And the best thing America could do and the world could do is kick these things out. Kick these things out of the country. Just say, we don't want your kind. We don't want your darkness. We don't want your devilishness. We don't want your mental disease that blames others. We don't want that. We want the blessings. We want to support Israel. Now, my good friend Alex Trayman from JNS said to me something that's so true. He said, everybody says that things are complex. There's a lot of gray zones. It's more nuanced and sophisticated. Because it's not nuanced and sophisticated. There's good guys and bad guys, right? There's Iran. There's Hamas, Hezbollah. There's Candace Owens. They're sick. They're anti-Israel. Israel is a good country. You know it. You read the Bible. You know what it is. You know that it's a moral country and a decent country and a country of life and creativity and ideas. So where do you want to line up with this sicko? Or do you want to line up with a line of blessings? And so it's time to excise these people from within our ranks. Certainly. I mean, she would say, look, Yishai Fleisher is part of the cabal to try to oust me. There's no cabal, lady. You're just sick. And you are and you have a right to everything you say. But also people have a right to say you are a force of darkness. And with that, my friends, I want to bring one last issue to our show today, which has been going on for 1 hour and 43 minutes. Lots of fun. And thank you very much, all the good folks that are with me. What a blessing you are. What a blessing you are. I want to tell you a story that happened to me on this last trip. Thank you very much for the blessing. Pleasant to bring the light. That's right. It's pleasant to bring the light indeed. Thank you for your super chat. Your super chats are a blessing, and I'm sending you blessings right back. Okay, here's my story about blessings. So I was flying to San Francisco recently, and I thought to myself, maybe I should do different than what I always do. I always wear my kippah loud and proud. See it? See it? And I wear it on the airplanes, and I wear it wherever I go. And I think to myself, I am a sign for Bible, for God, for Jerusalem, for blessings. And I even if when I want to wear a hat, I sometimes don't, just to show it off and to be the Jew from Judea. On my flight from San Diego to San Francisco, I thought to myself, maybe I should put on a hat. There's a lot of San Francisco's got a lot of antis, a lot of progressive liberal pro-jihad folks. And maybe I should just go anonymous a little bit. And I decided to do it when I was about to get on the airplane. Suddenly I was like, come on, I'm not changing my way for a bunch of bullies and haters. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to wear my kippah loud and proud. And I did. I got on the plane. Nobody said a thing. People smiled at me. As we say in Hebrew, hakol beseder. Everything was just fine. Everything was fine and dandy. So I get on the plane. Fine, no problem. I get out of the plane in the jetway. A guy chases me down, a guy much taller than me with a ponytail, good-looking big guy, white guy. He runs up behind me and he goes, "Hey, man, we don't see a lot of does around here." I go, "Yeah, I'm Jewish. I'm flying in from the land of Israel." He goes, "I'm Jewish too. My father's not Jewish, but my mother is. And I've become closer to my Judaism, especially after October 7th. And I've now joined the Chabad in San Francisco. And I'm trying to get closer. And I don't see a lot of kippahs around here. It's so good to see a proud kippah." And I said to myself, you see, got to be a loud and proud Jew. And me and him exchanged information. We had a great time. I said, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm a lawyer for non-for-profits." And I said, "Awesome." Hour later, I'm in a meeting and they looked a little sad. I said, "What are you guys sad about?" They're like, "Our great non-for-profit lawyer just retired, so we don't know what to do." I said, "I just met a sweet boy, a sweet dude, a sweet lawyer, a sweet young Jew who is growing in this field." And they're like, "Yeah, give us the card." And I had the card on me, took it out of my pocket, showed it to them. They took a picture of it, and I hope that it worked out. Point is, go big, baby. We've got a slogan here in our show. Our slogan is, let me find it because I want to put it on the screen. I believe in the slogan so much. Go big and go home. Go big and go home. Not go big or go home. Go big and go home. And from home, send out a message of bigness, baby. Go big and go home. That is what Israel is all about. And with that, my dear friends, I want to send you blessings, indeed loud and proud. Toda Rabah. I want to thank Yo for producing. And I want to thank my whole team, Moshe and Malkah, of course, and Amir and Shlomo and my whole big, beautiful team, my international team that's out there helping us get our wavelengths out to the world. Don't forget to like. I like you. Like me back. Like it. Like. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. Hit the little bell. When you hit that bell, it shows you when we have a new product out, when we have a new show out. It's beautiful. It's like love. It's like love. It's like I love this guy. I love this team. I love Malkah, and I want to hear more. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and of course you can comment. And don't forget to go to our web store on Yishai Fleisher TV on YouTube. And if you are looking for us on the internet, it's easy, yishai.tv. Zehu, that's it. I want to bless you for a blessed week. I want to send you blessings from the land of Israel, heart from the heartland of the Holy Land, a blessing from the land of blessings, and from Jerusalem, the city that God's name is called upon. His name is Jerusalem. Jerusalem is his name. You can write me an email, especially. That's right. You can write a one-word comment like "awesome," and you can write me an email, yishaifleisher.com, if you want me to come and speak at your community. That's right, folks. We're the Liberation Nation. We believe in the liberation of the world because we're moving from slavery to freedom. God bless you wherever you are. Stay tuned. More great lives, more great programs here. God bless you wherever you are. And toda, thank you, and shalom.